this gospel passage from St. Mark, we have two miracles that have taken place. It's again a beautiful technique of St. Mark when he writes the Gospels. He loves to sandwich stories together, and they convey so much action in the ministerial life of Jesus that keeps us always in suspense. He begins the journey after meeting the synagogue's official, and they head towards the house of the official where the little girl is dying. And as he makes his way along the path, there's an interruption. A woman that with faith touches his cloak, and immediately she is healed. Interesting to note that she has been suffering for 12 years, and the girl that Jesus is about to visit is 12 years old. It's an interesting connection there. But the fact is that after that healing takes place, we pick up the story where we left off. The journey continues as they head over to the house. And Jesus is telling the crowd, the girl is not dead. She's asleep. Jesus is in the midst of this incredible chaos, so much distraction. And that's why he's expelling the people out of the house, providing an opportunity for the parents to be alone with Jesus in the room as he performs the miracle. Talitha cum, little girl, I say to you, arise. There's three powerful lessons that I wish to offer for our prayerful consideration this morning in light of this powerful gospel that we have heard this morning. First lesson has a lot to do with the crowd. Jesus, as he makes his way to the house and is all of a sudden encountering this woman that touched his cloak, there was a lot of turmoil around, a lot of people pressing upon him, a lot of distraction, a lot of movement, and yet he's able to break through that distraction and all that chaos and is able to heal that woman. And she was healed because of her faith, because she trusted in the Lord. She was seeking him when she found out that he was in the area. It was her faith, her connectedness with Jesus that saved her. And then we see this lament taking place at the synagogue official's house. People crying in despair and sadness, reacting to the situation. And Jesus is quieting everyone, silencing the whole crowd, because we gain nothing by all this reaction and all this turmoil and all this chaos and all these disruptions. Allow silence to enter the house. Allow peace to reign. I think that Christ is inviting us to embrace, in a very busy world, in a very noisy world, an opportunity to seek silence. By doing so, we allow the Lord to speak and make himself present in our lives. We do so when we come here, when we celebrate the Eucharist, when we pray. But also it's important that besides coming to Mass on Sunday, that we take time each day to seek that silence and pray. Enter into a dialogue with the Lord, not only speaking to him, but allowing him to speak to us, to be still and listen. Through our devotions, the Rosary, Stations of the Cross, spiritual readings, daily reflections and meditations. But an opportunity also to have that moment one-on-one with the Lord, who knows us so well, and who can tend to our needs if we allow Him, with faith, if we trust in Him. That voice is the second lesson that I wish to offer this morning, because the Lord is addressing the girl, not the parents, not the crowds, not the disciples. He holds the girl's hand and He is speaking directly to her. Talitha kum, little girl, I say to you, not to anyone else, to you, get up, arise. And she does. And just like Jesus has spoken to her, He wants to speak to us individually, so that we may be able to listen attentively to His loving, caring voice. Third lesson is that command that He gave to her. Get up. It's not the first time that we hear Jesus say to someone, get up, rise up. In John's Gospel, Jesus in Bethany, standing in front of Lazarus' tomb, He calls out loud, Lazarus, come forth. Get up. Get out of that tomb. He spoke to him, not to the crowd around him, not to his sisters, but to him. And he heard. And he came out of the tomb, fully alive. And the little girl, listening to the mighty, powerful voice of Christ, also obeys and gets up, rising from the dead. You and I have also been called by the Lord to rise up. And we need to ask ourselves, from what am I called to rise up from? What are we called to let go of in order to live? We live in a world that is full of chaos and so much noise and so much turmoil. And we see so many crises in our daily lives. And sometimes those crises are found in our home, a place where peace shall dwell, must dwell. And sometimes we react to situations that could be easily solved, but we give in to anger, vengeance, resentments. We react to things, and we need to ask ourselves, whose voice are we listening to? Is it the voice of hatred, the voice of punishment and resentment and violence? Do we seek the voice of death and darkness? Or are we seeking the one true voice that's full of life, mercy, compassion, forgiveness? If we're not willing to let go, we will remain in darkness. We will never see light. If we're not willing to let go, we will remain trapped in a world of chaos and turmoil. As dead as that little girl was, as dead as Lazarus was, only if we truly listen to Christ's voice, the authentic and only voice of truth and life, if we're able to listen to Him and Him alone, our lives can be transformed. Our lives can be renewed. Our lives can be restored to wholeness. As we continue to celebrate the Eucharist with joy, we celebrate the entrance of Raphael into this community of faith. And we ask the Lord to bless the parents of Raphael as husband and wife, as heads of the domestic church, you have been called by God to exercise a beautiful ministry. As heads of the domestic church, you are to train her in the practice of the faith. Ensure that along this beautiful journey with Rafael, that you may provide the tools, that you may provide the means for him to listen to the authentic voice of life, the authentic voice of grace and blessing. That the voice that he may be able to attentively listen to be the voice of Christ, that will be so tangible in the manner in which you are Christ to him, through your words, deeds, and actions. And may this community be a source of support for you, that you may remain faithful to this commitment as we pray for you and pray for Rafael, that he may hear the voice of Christ calling his name as he responds to the mission the Lord has in store for him. I ask you to please join me now around the baptismal fire.